Red, 87-93.
They're the PumpkinBots.
It's going up from the Blue Alliance here.
And on the Red Alliance, we got one of my favorite teams, 87-93, the PumpkinBots. They've historically also always had some really interesting and awesome concepts. All right, now let's throw it down to the field for the next match.
PumpkinBots on red. They're a low goal robot, but they're so clean with it. They're so accurate. You'll love to see it.
They pull it out in the end. I think we wanted to maybe look at the instant replay there real quick. Is that right, Aiden?
Yeah, I wanted to give some credit where credit's due. So if we can pull up the replay and start this match, I was really excited to see how PumpkinBots were playing in this match. They did such a great job. Young team, numbers in the high 8,000s. They had such a versatile approach with a robot that you wouldn't really think as super flexible. So they get their L1s going. They're trying to make sure that layer is filled up, get the ranking point, help out their buddies, maybe, trying to captain themselves. And in the second that they get that 7th one in, boom, across the field. And they tackle 60-36. Knocking them around. They start swinging on to 80-33, one of those human player stations, and they just start causing chaos, right? Some disruption, knock the algae, actively punishing blue for not scoring that algae and making a mess of the coral, trying to pin people where they can, getting these awesome tackles in. Just super heads-up defense. The driver has clearly put in a ton of practice to not get fouled left and right by going so deep into enemy territory.
Yeah, and I want to point out that right now the score is really close. We got not many points in between there, right? And it looks like Red's gonna have taken the lead here in a second once the score sort of catches up with what's going on. But we see that basically the PumpkinBots are able to do all these things and kind of eke out just a little bit of an edge. Now that everything's caught up, we see by the end here they're way up.
And here's the last thing I want to point out. You'll watch them go for the climb, and they kind of whiff it. And in doing so, they decide, you know what? We don't want to jeopardize our partners. Super heads-up play, going into enemy territory, getting that park, but clearing and making sure that there's no risk of contact with their teammate there. So PumpkinBots doing everything right in this match. Just fantastic gameplay from them, really helping put the Alliance on their back, and a super strong teammate for any Alliance, I think, going into the rest of today, tomorrow, and the playoffs ahead. So, shout out one of our youngest teams here. They did a phenomenal job holding their own in this match.
Yeah, excellent. Now, again, PumpkinBots doing what they do well, putting all those coral down low, guaranteeing them basically that they're going to get that rank point. So a good maneuver there and a good effort on their part.
PumpkinBots, absolutely love the PumpkinBots. The little L1, just super consistent. And with the new rules that we have here, with the having to do the L1, it really makes an impact on being able to get that RP. And I think it really makes the ability to get that last RP. All right, let's send it down to the field for match 37.
Blue Alliance here.
Yeah, I think that the PumpkinBots, one of my favorite teams, they know exactly the bar to aim for, and then they execute on it perfectly. And you can see them every match. They go out, they're just doing what they know what to do, and because of the Coral RP change, they've really made huge contributions to every alliance that they've been a part of. And I would be very surprised if they don't end up getting picked up by a very high alliance if they're not in a position to pick.
Absolutely.
Coral all in L1. That tells me that the PumpkinBots, hey, they're doing their job. You can feel good about that at least.
Match number 53. What do you see?
I see your favorites up here on the blue.
Yeah, what do we got? Where are the PumpkinBots at? 87-93. Yeah, shout out the PumpkinBots. They're the best.
It's like the 4 parents over in the corner there.
Yeah. That was a little lackluster, but it's late in the day. They're my favorite. Give it up for the Pumpkins. They've been doing an awesome job. They've got a really defined role on all of their alliances, and they've been contributing, and they're showing what they can do. Every single match, they come in, they're filling up that L1. You can almost look at, without actually looking at who's in the match, you can look at the numbers and see there's 15, 20 pieces of L1 in the trough, and they're going to be on the field.
Blue are without a doubt an underdogs going into this match.
And now they score on L1 for the Red Alliance. 87-93, bowling their way through some coral over here on the Red Alliance side, slamming into the world champions, stopping them from getting to their reef. 153-126 in favor of the Red Alliance. 87-93 now playing some defense against this Red Alliance, trying to slow them down.
The PumpkinBots, that's our guys over here on the desk. They went swinging for the world champions towards the halfway mark there. They were doing some pretty darn good defense, trying to make sure that they could get some good hits in. For a second, it looked like 29-10 might have gotten their lights knocked out. I don't even know if I said that correctly, but they did have a little bit of stuttering at a point, going for those processor, I think potentially to raise that score of their average across all the matches, try to get a little bit higher in the rankings. We saw a unicorn match come up. It's a unicorn pet and zoo over here at Bellarmine once again. So great job by both the Red and the Blue Alliance. Both alliances breaking 200 points even, courtesy of the PumpkinBots, of course.
That they'll get the L1 Coral with 87.93. Been a monster on that all weekend.
As PumpkinBots is doing their L1 cycles like no one else can. Scores, and that's attributed almost entirely to the PumpkinBots. This L1 only robot is very good at scoring them very, very efficiently, and they can stack them up like no other team can.